Hello everyone and welcome back to a best-of-3 series of professional Starcraft 2. Today it's time for a Terran versus Zerg, which... Oh my god, really? I was gonna say, this should be an interesting one, because we have a bit of a contrast of styles here. So first off, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Beckett. For some reason, that's game number 1, by the way, in a best-of-3. Makes no sense. We have the Korean Terran player who goes by the name of ByuN, and then his opponent. With the orange Zerg drones from Ukraine, he goes by the name of Bly. Bly is easily one of my absolute favorite Zergs to watch. What is... He's easily one of my absolute favorite Zerg players to watch because when you look at, like, for example, a Serral or a Raynor or a Dark or a Rogue, at least broadly speaking, they all play the same way. And then Bly kind of plays the exact opposite, but still at an extremely high level. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. You'd imagine that these other top-level Zergs would also incorporate some of his shenanigans a little bit more often, because he does make it happen, and he does make it work all of the time. Anyways, ByuN, of course, I mean, I sound like a bit of a fanboy, but one of my favorite Terrans. He's very good. I don't want to fanboy too much, though, because every once in a while I see a YouTube comment of people saying, Loko, you call everyone your favorite. And it's true, man. No, it's not true. I do definitely have a couple of people, though, that I enjoy watching a little bit more often than others. And obviously, this is my YouTube channel, so I just cast whoever I want to watch, right? Anyways, so what do we have? We've got a Proxy Hatchery with a spawning pool and then 2 gases. Now, this has to be a Roach Warren as a follow-up, right? It's a little bit awkward. There you go. 150 minerals. And then I guess we saturate those gases and make roaches and ravagers on the other side of the map. ByuN, I think this is the reason. ByuN, over the last couple of casts that I've done in Terran versus Zerg, he has been skipping that Reaper Scout. So he's been going straight into the Marine almost every single time, if I'm not mistaken. So I think this is one of the things that Bly has realized as well. And he's like, wait a second, if you're gonna skip that very, very first scout, you have absolutely nothing to defend against this. Well, he is gonna check for the Overlord. Now he finds the creep. Alright. What do we do? Okay, so we have 3... Well, I guess 3. There you go. 3 roaches coming up already. 2.5 minutes into this game on Beckett. There is a lot of gas coming up as well, so there should be plenty here for the Zerg player to also morph at least a couple of these into Ravagers. Command Center, I think, should finish up here in time, so that's something, especially if he spends the time here morphing into Ravagers. He really does want to kill that SCV, though. I mean, if he can kill the SCV, okay, if he actually can force the cancel, oh my god. On that CC, that's a problem. Bly right there, very aware of the timing of that, of that expo. He knew that he needed to run in first before morphing into Ravagers. It's a small detail, but it makes all the difference. So a Cyclone is coming up here as far as the defense goes for ByuN. But honestly, this is a disaster. An absolute disaster. This is actually super clever. There's a reason, right, why the standard is a standard. And the standard is to go for a Reaper Scout. Now, this is a best-of-3 series, and I can almost bet you that every single game from here on out, ByuN is gonna go for a Reaper Scout. I think he should anyways. Otherwise, he's just, I don't know, taking risks that are completely unnecessary. Cyclone goes down as well. This is actually super clever. There you go. That's the way that Bly always wins. Plus, this is just a little bonus as someone who makes YouTube videos about Starcraft, right? And I have to give a title and I have to make a thumbnail to every single one of these videos. Bly makes that pretty easy, pretty much all of the time. I mean, when I cast another 30-minute long Terran versus Zerg between, like, I don't know, Raynor and Cure, right? So, I don't know, I'm just pulling 2 names out of my ass. But basically what I'm getting at is, like, that's gonna be a game where the Terran's probably gonna open up triple CC, and the Zerg player is gonna, like, make a lot of Lings and Banes, and eventually the entire map is gonna be mined out. But what do I put in the title? What do I... It's a real problem, man. Anyways, are we doing it again? No, Bly. Bly. It's a first world YouTuber problem. When you cast so many good games of StarCraft 2 that you don't know what to title them anymore. I'm taking recommendations. Let me know down below in the YouTube comment section. What are we doing? Okay, so this time around, it's much further away. Bly, if you're gonna go up against a Reaper Scout, which I really think ByuN should do, you're gonna get spotted at home. I don't think that this hatch is gonna be scouted, although ByuN obviously could check at, you know, his side of the map first, which would be a little bit crazy. Anyways, sure, it's a best-of-3 series. We could have a 6-minute best-of-3 series on our hands. That would be something. That would be a first, actually. Alright. It's not. He's gonna... my god, really? ByuN's doubling down right now, by the way. So he is gonna go for an SCV scout, fair enough. But he's gonna go for a reactor first as well. Meaning that he's not gonna have any kind of, like, units here until a little while later. Obviously, he's gonna be able to pump out those Marines 2 at a time, which is gonna be sweet. But, okay. This SCV scout is critical, though. Normally, we see Terran players at the highest level go for both the SCV Scout as well as the Reaper Scout. You kind of skip one of them. But ByuN has been skipping, well, to both of them pretty much every single game of TVZ. Alright, so this time around, everything gets spotted. Roach Warren timing, second gas timing, everything is now known to Mr. ByuN. He does really need to start up a bunker, though. Is he not going to start up a bunker? Is he going to... Okay. He doesn't know where it's at. Yeah, he doesn't want to... He really needs to start up a bunker. I always feel like that bunker is too far forward. I'm not sure, though. Okay, 2 Zerglings have been snuck out instead. I love this. Look at that. Bly running 2 Zerglings around. These Zerglings can change everything. That Roach Warren's still finishing. This is a different variant, by the way, of the same build. A little bit more of an economical one. Okay, so that SCV goes down, but already ByuN pulled another SCV. Nicely done. This time around, there is a queen available over here, as well as inside of the main base. He does start up a couple of roaches, but this is not nearly as big a commitment, although that is really rough. Losing that Overlord there is actually a disaster. Yeah. Can we... Hold up. I'm gonna go back for just a second. Oh, okay, that's why. I was gonna say, did he just misposition it on top of the pillar? But no. The command center was lifted there for a second, which I didn't really consider that when he first started up the CC on the low ground. But yeah, he lifted that for a second to provide high ground vision for those Marines to be able to kill the OV on the pillar. Okay. Second Overlord going around the back. There is another OV finishing up inside of the main base, because obviously he's using that precious larva over at the, well, I guess the third base of the Terran to produce roaches for the most part, although... Not a whole lot of money. I don't think that this is going to be nearly as successful. But he is going to make a couple of Ravagers. But mostly just drones at home. Are we going to make a natural expo? Love this, by the way. ByuN. Scouting ahead right now. Okay. A little bit awkward there. Zergling's apparently in a good mood. Corrosive Biles are already raining down in the natural expansion of the Terran player. But I don't think this is really going to achieve all too much. The problem is, though... Oh, he's mining over here. Yeah, I was going to say, like, what are you going to do? Eventually... And maybe I'm wrong, but I think eventually this is going to be broken, right? At some point, Terran will have, like, a bunch of siege tanks, and they can, like, you know, siege one over here, and then unsiege the one in the back, and then siege one over here, and unsiege the one in the back, and then eventually you can kind of create a chokehold. Although, with this much creep spread, and the distance, I guess, from the natural all the way towards the third, or this base up here, it is kind of tricky to pull that off. So, it's 3 corrosive biles. He's coming in from the side. It's 3 corrosive biles to bile down a siege tank. Which is the reason I think why Bly has got 3 of these Ravagers here. Obviously, when they're sieged up, they can't get too much done. I can't believe he's actually mining this base, though. That's the weirdest part about all of this. I feel like this is some temporary early game pressure. Because he's really only made 3 Ravagers. And yet... Yeah, ByuN, I guess, has to respect this, right? Look at this. He's making a great wall over here. He's trying to make the Zerg player pay for it, but so far it's not happening. Double Evo at home. All right. I think we really need to start up a Stimpack upgrade or something along those lines, ByuN. Yeah, ByuN actually hitting a bit of a supply block right now, too, because he lost those depots at the front. I love this. Okay. So... It's not much, right? So, ByuN just... Yeah, I think he just scanned over here, so he knows that there is a lot of mining happening. Lair is coming up. This is a fantastic position right now for Bly, isn't it? I mean, fantastic, maybe not so much. Got a feeling that this base is gonna go down eventually, but... He can just re-rally. Oh my god, are these drones really gonna go all the way towards the net? Alright. This is some very clever play. He's also spreading creep backwards. So rather than spreading creep from this natural expo towards the opponent's natural expansion, he's spreading creep from his opponent's natural expansion towards his own. Not usually the direction we see, but if you can connect the bases, it's going to be absolutely amazing, of course. Huh. Alright, yeah, so we're finally getting Stimpek. The problem with having Stimpek this late, though, is that, like, this build from ByuN is a complete mess right now. He was anticipating a complete push from his opponent. Turns out it's only 3 Ravagers. Hit a supply block. Stimpek is late. Starport is super late here as well. He's got a bunch of siege tanks, so at the very least he won't die to, like, a bunch of Ravagers. But, like, the problem is, it's only a couple Ravagers here raining corrosive biles. I think it's 7 to kill a bunker, so if you can, like, make one more, you can actually, like, rain down the bunkers in one hit too. Look at this. ByuN is not gonna die, but he's also not winning the game like this. Alright. So what do we do now? He's forced to salvage the bunker. Dude, look at this. ByuN is very confused about what he's supposed to be doing. It reminds me so much of the way that, like, for example, Haas plays. Okay, so finally we've got a good scan over here. The Marines actually can kind of sneak around the side. Yeah, he's a little concerned because without Stimpek, you can't really escape either, right? It's not just the damage boost. And ooh, this is okay. So one siege tank does go down over there, but it's not just the damage boost, but also the movement speed. 1-1, Stimpek, and Combat Shield are coming up, though. Even though I think this early game has been pretty good for the Zerg, there's no denying that you gotta respect this Terran army. That's going to be a massive power spike here very shortly for the Terran, although already 16 more roaches are coming up. 1-1 is already done for these roaches as well, so I mean... This is a wild game. Okay, so we just have another hatch coming up. I'm pretty sure at some point Bly is just going to, like, rally these drones all the way back home, and then we continue onwards like it's a regular game, except he's got 3 bases and his opponent got 2! Well, maybe it won't even get that far. Great stim right there by ByuN, target firing down a lot of the weakened units. Yep, they're going extremely far off creep, but I don't know if there's enough firepower right now for the Zerg player to clean all of this up. At this point, obviously, we see ByuN trading... Ooh, nice biles. We see him trading Marines right here for Ravagers. And that's minerals being traded for gas, which is pretty much always a good trade, but... Okay, now this is nice, too. ByuN finally catching a little bit of breathing room, but I don't really know if it's exactly because he's playing so well... Or if it's because, you know, Bly's making a couple of mistakes here and there. If he would have had, like, a couple more roaches over here and he wouldn't have gotten stimped like that, I think it would have been a fantastic position for him to be in. What does he follow it up with? Tunneling Claws and Burrow. This is the research that allows the roaches to burrow and tunnel underground. Yep. I guess if there's one thing ByuN could easily forget, it's detection. Right? But luckily for him, he's already got himself a missile turret over here. And there's, well, 5 siege tanks set up. Nope. Alright. ByuN caught his breath. His breath, rather. So that's very important. He's got a little bit of a medevac drop happening as well on the other side of the map. Obviously, ByuN absolutely amazing when it comes to that medevac shenanigans. He's very good at just simply microing those units. Especially against Roach Ravager-based armies, when they grow. And when the Zerg player grows in general, it's quite difficult to actually protect all of the bases when you're playing Roaches, because you can't really reactively get the Roaches in the right spot, right? You can do so with Links and Banes, where you're like, oh crap, there's a drop coming up. But with the Roaches, you kind of already have to be very close by, otherwise you just simply don't make it there in time. ByuN should really get himself a Raven out, man. I know the Raven is good against, like, the tunneling clawed roaches, right? For obvious reasons. But he needs to scan 17 times in order to clear all of this creep. This is so much more creep spread than what we normally see at this point in the game. Because there has been absolutely no Hellion harass or anything along those lines, right? We haven't had that creep spread at bay at all. And even though it's spread in the opposite direction from what we normally see, I think it's going to require too many scans. I really think so. Anyways, 3rd base has been acquired. +2/+2 is going to finish up very soon as well for the Terran. One pesky little roach going around the back. Secondary missile turret. ByuN apparently thinking he's already cleaned it up. I don't think it's going to achieve too much, though, because there is a defensive tank, but... Alright. All things considered, ByuN definitely, clawed himself back into this one. Nicely done here by the Terran player. The siege tank count is absurdly high as well at this point in the game. We're at 7 siege tanks and 10 marauders. And don't forget, actually, a couple of siege tanks have died already in this game. Marauders, of course, are really good against roaches. Not so good against ravagers, but wouldn't call them bad either. If this army for Zerg is just going to be a roach ravager, though, and Terran is going to especially finish up, like, for example, 3-3, it's going to be a disaster, because roaches and ravagers do not scale very well at all in the later stage of the game. Okay. These Terran units have +2/+2, Zerg only sitting at 1-1. Fair enough. Couple of tunneling clawed roaches once again made their way into a base. Despite the fact that there is detection everywhere, I think most Zerg players would give up on this harassment, but Bly's like, yeah, no, it doesn't matter. It's easy, watch this. Alright, so he's gonna add on infestors. He's going infestors as well as a hive. Fungal growth, obviously, against the bio army is amazing. But honestly, this Terran army is starting to look exceptionally menacing. Props right here to ByuN for actually crawling his way out of this this weird contain that he was in. Honestly, at the 7-minute mark, it seemed like he was pretty much dead in the water. Okay, maybe the 5-minute mark, I'm not 100% sure, but when that Stimpack upgrade first finished up with 1-1 combat shield and everything, right? That's where he hit a massive power spike, and he, yeah, I think he got a little bit lucky, but it definitely put him back in the game. Bly right now taking this base at the 9 o'clock position as well. Alright. This is some really good movement though. Yeah, ByuN right now utilizing those siege tanks over here to cut off the Zerg from that 12 o'clock base. I love it. Couple of infestors right now are available. Fungal growth is absolutely needed though at this point, because I mean, we're at 22 roaches. Okay. Oh, there they are. Oh my god. That was actually beautiful. I was wondering where all those roaches were. He just tunneled a lot of roaches around the siege tanks. Spread them out so they wouldn't get shot at all at once. And when they did get shot at, they obviously also dealt friendly fire to the other siege tanks. That was really pretty. Can he finish off the tank right here at the front as well? Another Stimpack maybe from ByuN. Okay, he does have concussive shells, but yeah, could have chased down a little bit more of that army. He needs a big fungal though, and the fungal can dude. That was definitely a potential right there for a huge, huge fungal. Bly didn't see it. ByuN didn't see it either. Big drop inside of the main base. Smaller Terran army over here at the front. Okay, that's not enough roaches though. Yeah, those roaches over here are definitely not going to be enough. We do see one fungal right there on one of the medivacs. Good dodge. At the same time, there's a drop happening over at the, well, what is normally the 3rd base of the Zerg. But I guess this is like the 5th or this, I don't know. Counting is hard at this point. It's all been a little bit lopsided. Spawning pool right now in trouble too. Doesn't really care too much about the spawning pool though, but losing all those workers is an absolute disaster. Okay, so ByuN is doing ByuN things. Fantastic movement right here by the South Korean Terran player. This is what he does, right? He outpositions the opponent, and then he starts piling on the pressure, and he gets that tempo lead, and he just simply doesn't really let go. So all of a sudden, we see 31, 33 SCV, or 33 drones rather, going down. Roach Warren's apparently gone too. So that's gonna make the Zerg army not nearly as nice. In the meantime, 6 o'clock base has been acquired. Planetary Fortress is coming up. Already a missile turret was built too, just because he needs some sort of detection. At this point as well, if you look at the supply count, I mean... I don't want to say that this game is over, but... yeah, Bly is super dead. Unless he can hit, like, golden fungal after golden fungal. He's got 2 infestors here. But that's a pretty good fungal. Good corrosive biles as well. Obviously, corrosive bile fungal growth is a killer combo, but... that's another amazing fungal. But yeah, ByuN knows it. GG. Hey, Bly. Oh, yes! Can we go 3 for 3? Really? We're doing this again. It's almost like Bly is trying to teach his opponent a lesson that you need to go for a Reaper early on. SCV scout into Reaper, dang it. Come on. It's not that hard. Alright. ByuN apparently stubborn as always. Not deviating from the plan that he set out. I really feel though, like, genuinely, right? I think that second game was actually supposed to be a ByuN, but he kind of underestimated the timing right there of Stimpack 1-1 and Combat Shield, right? Like, it all finished up at the same time. ByuN stimmed once, and I think ByuN actually had enough units, because I think he was producing like 16 roaches or something, like a half minute or so before that, but maybe they were still going across the map, or they were hiding in the natural expansion to maybe defend like against a single medivac drop or something along those lines. I think ByuN had pretty much everything available there for him to defend that, or he could have like produced units ever so slightly earlier. But what I'm trying to get at is that I don't think that that was necessarily that great of a situation for the Terran player because of the, you know, the Terran's play. I mean, obviously it's because, you know, the Terran made that move out, but he got a little lucky. Once again, really? Are we gonna check closer to home at least? Are you gonna go straight across the map again? Alright. Alright. ByuN, are you sure about this? Because I am not. Roach Warren, much quicker this time around. Second gas guys are much quicker this time around as well. This is essentially the same build that we saw in game number 1. And that worked out like an absolute charm. ByuN is mixing it up compared to game number 1, where he's going for that reactor right now. Roach Warren gets scouted here with that single scouting worker. So what do we do? Are you gonna start up a bunker right now? I've got a feeling we're gonna see literally a copy-paste of the first game. Just maybe like 2 more Marines or something, but like a later factory, so no tech lab, no Cyclone. If he once again just walks these roaches over there, kills the SCV, kills that SCV, morphs into Ravagers at that point, unless the command center finishes. If the command center finishes, this is so close. Okay, you know what? There are more Marines available right now, and that bunker is gonna finish. Maybe this is the way to defend this? Oh my god, I think it might just be. That Ravager Cocoon at 1 health. He did finish the command center. So, by the way, when Ravagers finish, they are back to full health. And they get a ton of armor in that cocoon. So it's actually really clever little micro here as well from ByuN. In the cocoon, they have way more armor than they normally do. There you go. I think this might still be a bit too much, though, isn't it? Okay, he's standing his ground, yeah. That Ravager was gonna go down anyway, even though that Bile did connect. Is there still enough for the Zerg player to break through this? I mean, I'm thinking if there's an orbital command, he can pull the SCVs and just... I don't even know if that's enough. Isn't it wonderful how, like, after, like, 11 years of professional Starcraft... Poor Marine there. We're still finding out... Like, this should have been figured out years ago, right? Alright, so there's the Cyclone. Just killing SCVs, by the way, is not really enough. He needs to win the game here. Okay, there's the Cyclone going down. Oh my god. No way! Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if in future games we're gonna see ByuN go for Reaper Scouts, but I don't know, man.